Hey guys, so I know my last video was a little bit on the shorter, cheaper side of things. I'm really short on time and I just wanted to get that one out the door. I'm actually recording this on February 18th, so it's been several days since the trades that I'm going to talk over had taken place, but I thought I'd just quickly go over that, recap something, and maybe you can learn a thing or two from my good trades and also see where I fucked up and what I could have done a little bit better. So just right off the bat, I took a position on Plug, made about $440 on Plug Power. Plug Power, not to overly confuse you guys, but Plug Power has taken a beating since I traded this on February 9th. It's February 18th. But anyway, that's not the point. Our goal of day traders, as day traders, is not to figure out where it's going to be a couple days down the line or whatever. It's to figure out can I make some money buying it and flipping it, sometimes even a couple seconds later. And I picked Plug because Plug is a mover, man. This is a stock that can move. It can move fast, and it's got a lot of speculation behind it, a lot of action. It's a great name to trade. I mention it during my Sunday videos quite often. Oh, what did I do here? Oh, man. I bought 600 shares of NEO. It's not like me to buy so much NEO. Yeah, it's only 30 grand or so, but like, it's one of the names that, the reason I said so much is because it's one of the names I tend to not trade particularly well. So I tend to really size down on tapes that I feel like trick me more often than not. Having said that, on Monday, I made about $500 on NEO. I bought some space in the morning. I think I was bag holding space for a long time. I think the real trade, I had a trade in Palantir as well, 500 shares of Palantir. I'm very comfortable with trading Palantir. It's also a name, despite the sell-off today, that I'm comfortable holding for the long term in case I ever do get a suck hold in the bag. But remember, we're talking about day trades here. The one name I traded very poorly Monday was Mara. I took a $329 loss on Mara, and honestly speaking, it was so stupid. I'm not mad about the $329 loss. I'm mad that Mara was such a big runner. It ran all the way back up. My initial intuition was right. But at the same time, as a day trader, I'm not trying to hold it through too many red ticks, and I just basically cut my losses right away. Had I actually rebought, which is what I should have done, I would have been up several grand. Mara was one of the big movers last week. It's a name I routinely mention in my Sunday videos. Highly recommend everyone follow that one. Obviously, sitting here and regurgitating a bunch of trades is not going to help anyone, so I want to throw in a couple of lessons that I've actually really started implementing this past year. I've never done this before as a day trader, but it's something that I've actually learned to do because we've been in a very frothy, highly valued market for a long time. And honestly, with the endless money printing, it could be like this for a while. People have been calling for a crash from S&P 3300, 3600, 3900. And quite frankly, every time I've attempted to short this market, I've tried like on 3 different occasions. Basically, I got stopped out of my short positions. So it's a very frothy market, and the ticker I want to talk about is TLRY. I had actually had a very large long exposure to TLRY, but I had sold TLRY the day before for $42, and on February 10th, TLRY was floating around, looks like $61 a share. So I had missed out on probably, I don't even want to talk about it. But anyway, just because you sold out of your positions, your long positions and things like that does not mean you can't still day trade the stock. And the reason I mention this is a lot of times speculative demand for a particular security doesn't come in until money's already going in and moving it. And TLRY, I knew $61 was very highly valued for the company, overvalued, perhaps you can even say. So I knew if I was going to get in on TLRY, it would have to be at a time where the chart was pointing up. And I was in and out pretty quick on TLRY. You'll see at the point where I bought TLRY, The chart was just pointing towards an uptrend. It was obvious it was going to go up for a few more ticks, but I also don't want to risk holding the bag in case it does come, dropping down pretty fast. So I took money off the moment I realized it wasn't guaranteed that the next tick would be green. And I didn't wait for the red candle. I took it off when there was a potential that the next tick was going to be a red candle. So playing it very coy here. Sometimes when you do this, it's okay to take off half of your position or a third of your position. You'll see that I took off basically 100 shares and then kind of waited out the next 200. And then I was like, oh, okay, you know what? My original inclination was correct. I think the move might be done for the time being. And then I took my shares off. Anyway, overall, I was pretty happy. And it's one of the key things that I've been working on with my trading is just because I sold TLRY at $42 a share doesn't necessarily mean I can't still day trade the stock, even though my day trade entry might be at a higher price than what I actually sold my larger investment position on TLRY on. So my big losing trade of the week was actually iRobot. And honestly, I'm going back and looking at the footage, and this is the beauty of recording at least some of your trades. You can go back and see. I don't like the setup I took on iRobot. It was up a lot pre-market. It got sold off basically before the market finished opening. There seemed to be some demand for buying, and I joined in for the ride. It's not a setup where you can just buy and expect that it will definitely go up, because the underlying trend was still down. It was just like an up movement within a downtrend, and I probably shouldn't have taken it overall. But lesson learned, and these are some of the risks you do when you are going against the larger trend and trying to ride a smaller trend. That you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. I lost a couple $100, I think 400 and change, but I honestly can't complain because last week was one of my better trading weeks. And then I bought a new company I haven't really talked about much on this vlog, mainly because I was waiting for the bounce first. It's a company called QuantumScope. If you look at the actual chart of QuantumScope, it is just it was super bearish for a long time. It was ripe for a shot up. But one of the key things with these, don't buy the stock and expect the shot up and just like hold it, because it could still continue to go down. You don't have to be the first one in the trade. A lot of times people trying to be the first one to do the analysis, first one in the trade, end up losing the money. Wait for some speculation to go through, wait for some money to move and push the price of the stock up. And then if it looks like the pattern will continue, you jump in then. You're not gonna get it at the exact price that you might say to yourself, oh, I could have gotten $3 cheaper yesterday. But at the same time, it was a lot more risk yesterday, and you might not have, the pattern itself might not have come about as obviously as it would have had you, I don't know what I'm saying. Bottom line is, don't be the first one into the trade. Sometimes being the first one into the trade, you have to wait for the trade to develop. You have to wait for other people to kind of join in. Be the person joining in. And that's what I did with QuantumScope. I actually bought 300 shares, and then throughout the day, I kept trading in and out. I missed some of my entries and exits. Depending on how the action of the tape is, I'll move it to another screen that I'm not recording on and just kind of look at it, but it's not a part of my recording. And sometimes I'm forced to exit before I can just move the ticker back to the screen that's recording. I try to do as much as I can, but sometimes I miss these recordings. QuantumScope was one of my better trades. I never took a very large position in QuantumScope. My maximum total cost was probably 600 shares, or maybe like 30,000 and change. But overall, it was enough to make about $1,700 for the day, kind of weaving in and out at different spots. And this was a name that was very bearish for a long time. I waited for a push-up, and I joined in with the push-up. And I felt comfortable that even in the dips throughout the day, the dips were worth buying. You don't get that with a lot of stocks. It was pretty obvious with QuantumScope that the dips were worth buying, mainly because it was super bearish for so long that I felt like any move up would be very sharp and drastic, and I wanted to have some exposure to that name. Anyway, that's it for this past week. I obviously cannot talk about every ticker that I traded. If you guys look at my screen, I probably have anywhere from 8 to 12 positions on at the same time. And in fact, I almost screwed up TLRY. I traded TLRY again on Friday, and I almost screwed it up because I was trading too many names at the same time. I got in on the Quantum Scope trade. I got in on TLRY. I was in on Twitter. I was buying Plug Power. I was doing all these different names, not putting too much money onto any name in particular. Stop fucking calling me. But yeah, that's kind of how I trade. That way, if any one name bashes you for the day, you have 9 other names that hopefully you've done okay on. Anyway, that's it for me. Just wanted to kind of do a quick roundabout of last week's trades with you guys. That's honestly all I have. So I'm hoping to record this week's trading video tomorrow to get it out the door while the material's still fresh. But the 2 big takeaways is just because the stock is trending down does not mean it's not a good day trade for the long side. TLRY just had a lot of volatility and made it a great day trade. I did not want to get short squeezed in case a bunch of people started aggressively buying the name, even though I did feel it was overvalued. And yeah, the other key thing I want to talk about Quantum Scope is just because you think a stock has a good valuation, don't buy it, because you could be stuck holding it at that same valuation forever. Wait for more money to move in, wait for a push up. You don't have to be the first one in the stock, just join in at that point in time. That's all I have to say about Quantum Scope and TLRY. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's footage. I'll see you next time. Thanks.
I just want the money.